Now, to share how the candidate forum will work, I will now turn it over to the co-president of District 28 President's Council, Jessica Zilo. Jessica?
Thank you very much, Cherie. Welcome everybody to the 2021 District 28 Education Council elections. I am Jessica Zilo. I am the District 28 co-president for President's Council, and with me tonight to help me assist is Michelle Staples, who is the President's Council treasurer. I would like to thank our President's Council for hosting this forum. I would also like to thank Dr. Tammy Pate and Sonia Rueda, who's our fabulous FLC, for all of your assistance. I also want to thank all of our candidates and the families who have made the effort to be here tonight. Parents, it is your responsibility on behalf of the community to elect the best candidates for this council. During this forum, you will hear the candidates talk about why they should be elected to serve on the council. I recommend that you take notes, which you can share with your family or fellow parents who may not have been able to attend tonight. And use it as a reference when you go online to vote during the first 2 weeks of May, which is May 1st to May 11th. Before we meet the candidates individually, let's go over the rules of the virtual forum and our community norms. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes for an introduction and each question, and we will finish off the meeting with each candidate being allowed 1 minute for a closing statement. We also want to make sure that all candidates remain polite and respectful. Personal attacks or personally intrusive questions will not be allowed. Please keep yourself muted when speaking. Refrain from interrupting the candidates or speaking without being invited by the moderator. Please be concise in your responses. When your time is up, you will be muted to allow the other participants, to allow the other candidates an equal opportunity to speak. Remember, this is your opportunity to introduce yourself to the community and demonstrate that you will be a valuable member of the Education Council. And we will start with the order. We'll start with the intro and the first 2 questions in the order that is shown on the screen, and then we'll reverse it so that the last person will then go first. Okay, so we won't make the same person go first multiple times. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and ask the first question. And the first question is, first of all, please introduce yourself and also tell us something about yourself and what experience do you bring that you will feel will benefit our council. And the first speaker will be Elizabeth Polkovitz. Elizabeth, please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Polkovitz. I've lived in Forest Hills and Rego Park for 21 years and in New York for 26. I have 2 sons, a freshman who went through 174 and Russell Sage, and a 5th grader at 144. I'm a G&T parent, an honors parent, and an IEP parent. I've served on 2 Parents Association boards, 2 years as co-communications editor at 174, and 2 years as co-president with the SLTC at PS 144. I'm running for CEC 28 because I know that there are a lot of passionate parents in this district who believe in the power of education, but who have differing views on what we need and how to get there. We spend a lot of time talking past each other instead of listening to each other. This council has a very important job to do. The CEC is meant to be the bridge between parents and the DOE and between schools and the DOE. And they can't do that well if everybody's focused on pushing their own agenda through. Every parent on this call has a common goal to have the best possible schools for our K-8 students and to have a city that supports those schools well. The CEC members have to be willing to leave their own agendas at the door. They have to be willing to listen and lead rather than get up on a soapbox. I've spent the last 10 years working hard to learn how our schools are operating and advocating for our kids. I know what the council does. I've been to CEC meetings. I know what they should be doing, and I'm ready to work really hard for your kids and for District 28.
Thank you. Next up will be Albert Suhu. Do you need me to repeat the question?
No, I have it.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, great. So good evening. My connection to District 28 is as follows. My daughter is in the G&T program at PS 220 Forest Hills. And for myself, I have a 13-year-long history as a student in the New York City public school system, having attended zone schools in Queens since kindergarten, first at PS 117 and junior high school 217, both in Briarwood. For high school, I attended a specialized high school. And in 12th grade, I was fortunate to have earned the opportunity to work as a student intern at the Board of Education at 110 Livingston Street. I believe my unique experiences, both working in the Department of Education and as a student in the public school system, should provide valuable experience. Also, I'm a child of low-income immigrants, like many of our current students. And for higher education, I've earned full scholarships and graduated from prestigious universities. And I want all of our children in our schools to have the same opportunity to take such a path if they so choose. Professionally, I'm in a senior level position in the United States Department of Homeland Security, working in governance and oversight. And I believe this experience should prove valuable as a member of the CEC. Also in the past, I've worked as a manager for the US Census in Queens. And with this experience, I'm fully aware of the varied demographics in District 28. So let me just say that I strongly believe in diversity and inclusiveness. I'm an active member of the Asian American Pacific Islander Resource Group at the federal government agency level, where we interact and share with other groups such as LGBT, African American, and other Hispanic federal employee groups. I believe engaging in cultural exchange promotes acceptance and cooperation in a school system. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next candidate to speak will be Nathifa Lewis. Do you need me to repeat the question?
No, thank you. Good evening. My name is Nathifa Lewis. I am the mother of 3 students in the Queens Public School System at this point. I am a PTA president. I have been a parent of a gifted and talented student. My son was at PS 220 years ago. My daughters are currently at Jamaica Children's School, getting ready to graduate. I am passionate about education. I'm passionate about community engagement. I have been attending CEC meetings and various forums, especially in this time of a pandemic where a lot of the ways things are done have been changed. And I think that my professional experience, in addition to my advocacy as a parent, will serve as pretty valuable for CEC 28. Professionally, I work with the City of New York. I'm a former DOE employee. I worked in the Central and DIIT, supporting just about all of the systems that touch our children, whether you are a special education student and engage with the CEC program, whether it's the after school programs or whatever else. I have supported them, and because of my passion for understanding how it works, I do understand DOE from that perspective. And then from the community engagement level, I have always tried to maintain connections, relationships, and I think that I would bring that there to the CEC table. I am also an adjunct professor. I've been an adjunct professor at Pace University for 12 years. And I have formerly also taught high school. So balancing both the parent part, the teaching part, the community part, and just my passion for education and in making sure that everyone has the resources that they achieve, I think I'm perfect for this council. And I look forward to an opportunity to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and repeat the question, not only for the next candidate, but also for those listening tonight. So the first question is to give us a brief introduction about yourself and also to tell us something about yourself and what experience do you bring that you will feel benefit our council. And the next candidate to speak will be Odessa Engles.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Odessa Engles. I am a mother of 2. I have a preschooler and I also have a 5th grader. They both attend PS 80 elementary school in South Jamaica, Queens. So I have served for 2 years as a PTA president. I am currently on SLT. I have served previously on SLT. I am currently the PTA treasurer. I have also served previously as a PTA treasurer. So I believe that I can be a good candidate for the CSE is because I am from the South Side of Jamaica, and I feel like sometimes our voice isn't heard within the district. And I think I will be a good representation of the South Side of Jamaica. I was born and raised there, so my children attend there. So I think that I could be a good candidate to be a voice for the South Side, and that we can find a way to work together from the North Side and the West Side, and we're equally fair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next candidate to speak will be Robert Tamayev. If you could go ahead, Robert.
Hi, my name is Robert Tamayev. I have a daughter in 196 in Forest Hills. I have 2 more kids that'll be joining public school in a few years. I served in the last CEC, or I guess the current CEC, for the last 2 years, most on the community board for Regal Park in Forest Hills. I personally went to school in Forest Hills High School a long time ago. I was able to go through a lot more education since then, have 2 doctorates now. I work as a physician in the neighborhood. And basically, I believe in pushing the students who are in every level, right? The ones who are doing great, excellent, but we can push them harder. The ones that are struggling, we need to find out why that is. We need to focus on the problem. We need to bring them up. Every problem that society has at the core of it is education. If we can give education to every single child, we can move forward in every aspect of life. So we need to increase advanced placement in every school, not just those that have them already. And then force the DOE to help each and every child. That's done by initially increasing funding, but focusing on all the issues. I think the last CEC was great. One of the things we were lacking was a good coherent team that wanted to work together and vote on a lot of things. The biggest issue is that we did not vote on enough things, kind of always wanted something to, just ideas need to go out and votes need to happen. So whether it's me or whoever it is, I hope that we get a good team that'll work together for the best of every single child in the district. And we need to focus on both the major issues, such as equality, the gifted and talented program, the diversity plan, but also we need to focus on all the small issues, which is something that comes out of every single parent and child in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next speaker and our candidate will be Geetu Aggarwal. Go ahead.
Good evening. Myself, Geetu Aggarwal, and I'm the mother of 2 kids. One is in primary school and another is in a middle school. And I have been a parent, part of parent association, and I've served as SLT. And I am a programmer by profession. And the reason being, I want to, go for this education council stems from a very unpleasant experience, which one of the kid had to go for, basically. So when he was in primary, he was part of the specialized, education plan. And then eventually, once he started to, get better, he was moved to a normal classroom setting. And in that process, he suffered a lot, basically. I always failed to understand what was going with him in the school. Is it exactly him or what's going on? But I definitely want to see how the school works, and there should be no, discrimination or bullying or, stuff like that should be handled properly, because whatever happened, I know school helped us a lot, and definitely, but in the term, I suffered and, my kids suffered a lot. So I want to definitely, wanted to step up and get opportunity to serve the board and, get some rules, regulation, know more about it, and help the community to come to an end of, all these, injustice to the society, basically. And that's what I'm looking forward to, go for the elections. Thank you.
Thank you. The next candidate to speak will be Sheleeza Deen. And I apologize, Geetu, because I forgot to ask if you wanted me to reread the question. Sheleeza, do you need me to reread the question or are you okay?
I did not unmute. Thank you.
Whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and speak, or do you need me to reread the question?
Yes, please, once more.
Sure. If you could please introduce yourself and also tell us something about yourself and what experience do you bring that you feel will benefit our council?
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sheleeza Deen. I have been a parent for 19 years. I actually got involved with parent leadership as soon as my daughter started her Head Start program at Colin Newell Head Start. I have served a total of 13 years of being on Title I, the PTA in PS 117, the PTA at MS 217, and John Mountain High School. I have served a majority of the time I've served as a president, even though I have served at different positions. I don't shy away from a challenge of accepting that our parents and our children need representation, and they need to see the people that represent our schools. And through the years, I felt comfortable in being the president and serving our community, providing workshops similar to that of educating parents as well as children about the community, what the community have to offer. I have brought in many collaborators from Lincoln Center to firefighters, CPR trainings. We have had many wonderful parent bonding time together. I feel I will love to continue this job with our CEC to be a voice for our parents that have been all these years, and I think I'll be a positive voice and an important voice to the table, coming from a nursing background. And it's a pleasure serving the families through the years.
Thank you so much. The next candidate is Vijah Ramjattan. Vijay, do you need me to repeat the question?
No, thank you, Jessica. So good evening. Equity and excellence for all looks great on paper. Equity and excellence for all looks great on newspaper articles. But equity and excellence for all does not come by a wand when we whips it in the air. Equity and excellence for all come from parents like you and me, who are gonna fight, who are gonna say every child matters, who's gonna say every parent matters, be it from the South or the North, because every child deserves the best chance to be successful. Be it an IEP student, be it a GNT student, or be it any student who wants to go to a higher level should have the opportunity, but most importantly, the resources to get the next step they want to go. My name is Vijah Ramjattan. I have 3 beautiful children in the District 28 school, PS 121, and they have a very wonderful education there. Because as a parent myself, I realized that if we want to give our children the best opportunity to proceed and to be successful, we can't just sit back on the side and have others make decisions for us. We have to be at the table fighting for our children and all children in our district. For the past 2 years, I served as president of CEC 28, and I had the honor of representing all our families in our district through a difficult time, through this pandemic. But one thing I knew that worked really well is when we put our minds together, when we put our voices together, and we leave aside everything else, and we fight for one cause, for one district, for all students and every student, we are successful. I am Vijah Ramjattan from CEC 28, and I look forward to serving again next year for the next 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next speaker is Elena Aminova. I apologize. Do you need me to reread the question or are you okay?
I'm okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening, everyone. And I have the pleasure of being on the CEC 28 with Vijah Ramjattan, who just spoke as a second vice president. And I have 3 kids going through the Department of Education within District 28 myself, from PS 175, Jose Junior High School, and the oldest Forest Hills High School as well. Having the experience of having kids going through elementary school to middle schools through the high school levels, and actually my oldest is now in college, actually having the experience of seeing the growth that the kids acquire and what they need to succeed in college is what has me, I guess, as a unique candidate here. I have been on school leadership teams for all of my kids' schools throughout their journey, and even in parallel with 3 schools at the same time, at both PS 175, Jose, and Forest Hills High School, and at the same time serving as a board member on the PA PTAs at each of the schools, serving as a secretary, VP, as well as a PA president for over 10 years at PS 175, bringing in the school's after-school program, which is still in practice today at PS 175, and long after my kids have graduated the school. The school did not have a talented and gifted program, yet we created our own tag program, we called it, Talented and Gifted. And bringing that experience, I am happy to be serving for the last 2 years on the CEC board, and passionate about several aspects of what we need to continue improving upon. We have done several initiatives successfully in the last 2 years during the most difficult times of pandemic, and I would like an opportunity to continue over the next few years to continue on our mission together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The last candidate to speak with this question will be Rajwinder Kaur. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Do you need me to repeat the question?
No, I'm okay with that. All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Rajwinder Kaur, president of CEC 28. It was my pleasure over there, and I'm very proud of my council that I got to learn even more, and that helped make me help all those people who were not able to solve their problems, especially in the barrier of the language, because what my own 2 kids are in the District 28, what I experienced from my kids' friends, and like that the parents are not able to understand the English language or another language. So they always ask for help and everything. They are so shy that they are not able to understand the language. That's why they are not able to put on their problems on the table. So what else they can do? So being a part of the CEC, so I was able to help them. So it will be my pleasure. I'll be having a great opportunity if I'll be selected again. I can serve my community to serve them better, as the equality should not be only on the papers. It should be practical. So I will be glad and love to help the community. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate everybody's responses to the opening statement and to the first question. With that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Michelle Staples, and she will go ahead and ask the second and third questions. Michelle?
Yes, thank you, Jessica. Good evening. The second question is, to your knowledge, what is the role of the CEC, and how would you work with President's Council and the community? And this is for Rajwinder Kaur.
As a CEC, I can attend the number of SLTs. As of now, also, I do attend number of schools SLTs and another meetings, from where I can get to know that what are the issues going on in the school and what are the agendas are working on, what each school is suffering from, like the capital budget plan and everything, so that we can discuss with among other panels and other things, so that we can sit together and solve it. As for the community, as I said, as I'm a multi-language, and being the known of 3 multi-languages, Hindi, English, Urdu, and you can say Punjabi also, the other 4, so I can serve the community better, whatever their language feel comfortable in. So if I'll be given the opportunity, of course, that will be, I'll be helping the community in any way, even the kids. During this pandemic also, as the people were hesitating in the language and in the computer help also. So they do call me, and I did try to help everyone in the community and try to contact the school teachers also so that they can help the other parents. So because they were not in that, they don't have any knowledge of the computers. So that the kids did help, and I did help out the kids. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we have our next candidate, Elena Aminova. Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, I think I'm good. The role of the CEC, in my opinion, is to be the liaison to between the Board of Education, the district, as well as the parents and the students. We often forget the voice of the students, and I take the privilege of actually attending as many PA meetings as I can and hear directly from both the parents as well as the students that often attend the PA meetings with their parents. It's amazing to see. Even in the challenging times of the pandemic, I think it actually makes it easier for us to attend those meetings through Zoom and Google Meets and Microsoft Teams platforms that now our schools have been able to provide us with. And we are privileged as the current CEC to have the opportunity to attend those sessions. I take pride in the voice of the parents, as being one of the parents within the district myself. Without having the ability for the parents to voice their opinions, we are nothing. And obviously we want to make sure that the DOE and the district leadership hears us from end to end. With that said, if we all just pass by and allow the certain agendas to be passed through, then our kids will suffer, right? So we want to make sure that we within the CEC actually hear the parents, allow all sides to be heard, be neutral as much as possible, and actually represent all of our parents within the district. South, North, doesn't matter, all races, all different representations, and be the true voice for the better of our children. So that's where the role of the CEC comes in. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next candidate, Vijah Ramjattan.
Perfect. That works. Yes, thank you for the question. The role of the CEC is to just listen. Just listen a lot, because many times we go in these forums or these councils with a background of knowledge and degrees and education and all these things, and we go in there and we forget that we are just one of a board to represent thousands of people. So the one thing the CEC has to do is to listen to the parents. They know their children, they know their concerns. One size does not fit all. We have to listen and be a platform to spring forth all the different options and synthesize a lot of information. And our goal is, the goal of the CEC should never be to please every child, because that is not attainable. But we want to please as most families as we can. Our goal is to bring what solutions that will benefit the majority of our children, but not let the silent voices slip under the rug. Let not the voices that is unheard or their concerns not be elevated. Find reasons and ways to elevate every single voice. If there are blockages of not finding those voices, how can we meet them where they are? Find our families, look at them, understand their situations, and work with them for a better solution for most children. How do I plan to work with President's Council? The President's Council is a true representation of the entire district. There you have all the presidents and PTA members from across the district. Myself as the vice president of my school PTA, I understand each school has a culture, it has a way, of doing things, and to be that partnership with them, the CEC has to be in partnership with all other organizations in our district to elevate all voices and provide a space, because one parent may be able to go to the PTA meetings, to the President's Council meeting, but not our meeting. So if we are able to go and really partner with all of them, and really be a bridge with all these various groups, we can reach the maximum amongst parents. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Again, the question is, to your knowledge, what is the role of the CEC and how would you work with President's Council and the community? And this is for Sheleeza Deen.
Hi. Hello, everyone. I feel that the CEC represents our schools at that higher level where we are able to reach more families, obviously through the president's representation and other members of the board that attends the CEC meeting. I think the connection with the SLT, the school leadership team, and the CEC, where families, we can hear the issues at SLTs and able to bring it to the CEC and try to find resolutions. I feel we should be diverse and equity, as we keep talking about equity and inclusion and diversity. All these things are significant, but as parents, we need to be part of that conversation. We need to be at the table. If you want something to be different in your child's school, be that person who is making it different. I have incorporated many holidays of different cultures throughout my years on the PTA, and I want to bring that to that other level of where we know what our community needs, celebrating our parents in our community, for our children and our parents and the community in general to feel and respect each other, and being able to say, yes, we're one community, we're one school, we're one district. And I am hoping to get the opportunity to do that. I currently serve on the President's Council, and I'm seeing more of a different level of parent leadership. And the many years of school leadership team at the many schools, I feel I'm equipped to handle the questions or the task at hand, the challenge to work on the CEC to represent our families in District 28.
Thank you so much. Our next candidate, Geetu Aggarwal. Would you like me to question?
Yeah, I have written it, so I know this. Thank you. So I think the role of the CEC Council is to make an important decisions related to the parents and school issues, right? So basically, the CEC Council is at the district level, and this is the way like the CEC works to alleviate the problems or make important decisions for the students, right? So the role is to basically elevate, bring the student voice and the teacher voice, what the parents feel about those general issues, and the issue like the whatever the solution is, right? Or whatever policies we are making, they should be definitely be such policies so that the students, all the different kind of students are being kept into mind, not just few something, right? So that's and then as a community, our community can grow in a beneficial and a balanced way, and and so that we can provide a overall education to our future generations, basically in a good way, so that all the kids should work for the betterment of the society. And I believe the kids are becoming more like passive robots or something. So to inculcate certain different activities into our curriculum, so that they are just and are motivated to work and help each other and to be positive in the life, basically. So I think that's the major role of the CEC Council, is to basically bridge the gap, right, between the community and this district at the district level. And I would say how I like this council will work with the president to help the society is by bringing in the issues from the various ground up level, having an awareness of all the student and the parent voice will help them to overcome all those difficulties in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next candidate, Robert Tamayev. Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, thank you. So I think the bottom line is that the CEC is sort of the middle point between everyone involved, whether that's the parents, the students, the teachers, the principal, the DOE, and the parent association. We collect information from everyone we can, we centralize it, and then we find ways to help every part of it. The principals tell us what the problems with the schools are, the parents tell us their minor issues, the DOE we can go to when parents can't, and that's what it is, getting everyone together, forming a group of people that can help everyone and represent each and every member. So as an example, one of the things we did in the last 2 years, which we all did as a group and voted unilaterally, was getting funding for schools that absolutely needed it. There were projects that apparently were never done. There was a girls' bathroom that had urinals in it. So that's the sort of thing that the CEC needs to know and needs to get involved and get it fixed. We got funding for them. That school will hopefully in the next year get a new bathroom that the girls can have as a girl bathroom. So that's my belief. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Again, the question, to your knowledge, what is the role of the CEC and how would you work with the President's Council and the community? Odessa Engles.
Hi, how you doing? So I believe that the role of the CEC is basically a liaison between the school community and the parent community. How I believe that we can work together, as it was stated before, is listening. All I can do is bring to you what my experience are. I experience when somebody is not listening, that it can be frustrating. So when you come to a CEC board and you want help, you want the CEC board to be able to listen to you and understand how you may be feeling as a parent, because we most likely are frustrated about something that we want. We all want our children to grow and learn and be productive people in this world. So we want to, the CEC board needs to reflect of listening skills, communication, and basic help. So we want to make sure that everything, we are open to the community, to the schools, and to the principals, because we also want to hear from the school staff and how everybody's feeling, because we want everybody to work as one. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next candidate, Nathifa Lewis.
Good evening again. To me, any issue with education normally has a two-pronged approach you can take, one of a breadth and one of a depth. To me, the CEC provides that breadth. The C for community, like in our case for the Community Education Council, allows us to basically represent all of the, or engage all of the stakeholders in any issue that's related to education. So that involves the parents, the teachers, the principals, the superintendents, the elected officials. And it's something that, I actually learned full hand from coming to District 28 CEC meetings. To me, there's always been a great community engagement. President's Council, on the other hand, being composed of presidents or their designees from each and every school in the district, provides that depth, because the president should have a hands-on idea of what is going on in their particular school community. And the CEC can help to kind of find those niches, match areas that overlap with each other, find resources, share things that are happening well in one area, and bring it to another. So to me, that is the role, yes, as a liaison to the community from two different perspectives. The CEC from a position of breadth, where you engage each and every stakeholder. The President's Council from one of depth, where you advocate as best as you can for your individual community, and you find ways to engage on a community level to make sure that we just represent our children in the best way possible. In each case, yes, we're representing a lot of the same constituents, just from a different angle. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next candidate, Albert Suhu. And would you like me to question?
No, I have it. Thank you. Okay, so the role of the CEC is obviously to understand and communicate the family's concerns to the DOE and other elected officials. But a recurring problem is the lack of parent engagement. And the CEC must ensure the concerns of all parents are represented and addressed. And in our district, we have many students from Title I low-income families. Most of these low-income families are immigrants, right? And their voices may not be heard because of language barriers. So we need to ensure that outreach in their native languages is there, whether it's in Spanish, Chinese, Russian, Bangladeshi, Guyanese, etc., and to get their input and engagement. If their voices aren't heard, then it would be difficult to address their needs and achieve social equity. Now, based on my past working experience in the US Census, I know that each neighborhood is different, even within the district. And it would be a mistake to assume that concerns are uniform across the district. So that interface with the President's Council serves as a conduit to understand and communicate the challenges and concerns across the different schools in all the different neighborhoods. And by engaging in such discourse, it facilitates a sharing of best practices. Also because there is diversity both in the unique characteristics of a given community and in the cultural differences within the community. You know, the exchanges of ideas from different perspectives can improve the chances really of developing innovative solutions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And our next candidate, Elizabeth Polkovitz. And would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
To your knowledge, what is the role of the CEC and how would you work with the President's Council and the community?
So the CEC's job is to be a bridge. They're meant to review educational programs and their impact. They're meant to meet with the superintendent and facilitate public comment. They're meant to be a liaison between the district and the PEP, sit in on SLT meetings in our district schools, review changes to zoning and building utilization, and work with the district schools on capital plan needs, and to be a liaison with the chancellor. Their tools are resolutions, hearings, votes on zoning and utilization, and the power to ask the DOE to come in and speak to parents when we do have big challenges and changes on the horizon. All of this is about amplifying the voices of our families. I want to echo Vijay that the CEC's job is to listen, but I'd like to add that the next step is to steer the district toward a consensus that benefits as many kids as possible. For example, the city's been focused on building new capacity, and we've needed new capacity in parts of D28. We were a waitlisted family back in 2015, and I know how bad that felt and how destabilizing it is when you can't get a seat in your community school. But we have this ridiculous situation where we're so focused on that we had the old roof fail at 144 this year, right after the extension was built. PS 139 had a roof failure a few years ago as well. And I know that the schools on the south side have major maintenance challenges of their own. A year and a half ago, Redwood Middle School was going to have winter concerts coming up, and they had no working auditorium lights. That should not be. While I was on SLT at PS 144, not the last CEC cycle, but the one before, I never once saw a CEC rep at an SLT meeting. I should have. That's part of the job. If I'm selected to be a council member, I'll take that part of the job seriously. I'll work with the President's Council to gather information about what their school's concerns are. The work of the CEC is to be a bridge from the grassroots of our education system up to the top level.
Thank you so much. And we will change the order for the next. Okay, so now our third question. What do you feel are important issues in our district, and how will you elevate the voice of our community to address them? Elizabeth Polkovitz, thank you.
Yikes, it's hard to go back to back. So unlike many districts in the city, District 28 is a pretty good microcosm of the city as a whole. We're a very diverse district, and we have a lot of different types of families who live here. Our issues are city issues. Current hot button topics are whether or not and how to continue G&T, the coming diversity integration planning that the whole city will be engaging in by the district, and the push and pull between getting kids back into classrooms full time and knowing that the school buildings and procedures are safe. We need to strike a balance between expanding capacity in the district in areas where schools are overcrowded and adequately maintaining the capacity we have. And finally, certain parts of the district are often really left out of key conversations, and that's not okay. I believe that we do need to restart the diversity planning, but that the working group really needs to be reformed with more ways for parents who are not heavily connected to be able to serve. The last time the working group was formed, you had to be a member of a community group that was selected, or you had to be selected by your principal, nominated, and there was no way for an average parent to apply. The diversity planning is really important work, and every single issue I've just talked about is connected to that work. And now I've lost my thread. There's so many different perspectives in this district. There's so many different ways of looking at a problem. And for every person who's passionate on one side, there's another person who's passionate against. And I think it's really important to work to bring those two sides together so that we all end up lifted up in a city that often forgets districts like this.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Our next candidate, Albert Suhu.
Yes, so there are many important issues that have a significant effect on our children's education. Now, the perennial issue in District 28 and probably across all districts in New York City is overcrowding, right? So how do we solve that problem? It's a difficult problem to solve. We definitely need to engage our leadership. We need to find out from the school construction authority whether there are any possible solutions. Another issue, obviously the pandemic. What are we going to do come September? How do we ensure that all kids can return safely to school? That's a big question. How this was all handled the past year, it could have been done a lot better. I think we all know that. Next issue, the school admissions process. What should be done with the G&T program, right? How should the admissions process be structured for the screen middle schools and high schools? I mean, the mayor and the chancellor has, essentially put everything on hold. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. So we have to answer these questions for our parents. A related issue, school choice. Is zoning and choice schools going to be implemented? We don't know. We need to find out. And if it is, we need to find out how it's going to be addressed. Another issue, equal access to the best educational resources, right? We have Title I, low-income families, we have immigrants, English language learners, and IEP students. We have to ensure that they get the best resources, they get access to technology. But more recently, the issue that's really bothering me is the anti-Asian hate crimes, Black Lives Matter. How do we ensure that bullying is prevented and a safe environment is provided for all when all the students return to school in September? And this is not a problem just for Asians and Blacks, but everyone of color, anyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next candidate, Nathifa Lewis.
I believe that the biggest issues in District 28 basically mirrors the DOE's mission statement, equity and excellence for all. Equity. In District 28, I live on the border of basically District 27. So I'm in Southeast, the most southeastern part of District 28. And I always say from a geographical standpoint, It is shaped like Huber. It's long and thin. And when my son was in kindergarten and assigned to some district GNT programs, he was given a choice of 3 all the way on the other end in Forest Hills. And that's when I first started getting engaged and, trying to understand why weren't there programs on the southeastern side. My 5-year-old son was given a Metro card to go on a tree zone bus fare. So I think it's gotten better over the years. He's now in 9th grade, so he's no longer even under our CEC 28, but I have 5th grade twins now, looking at some different issues. I have informally advocated for other parents who were trying to get things such as placement if they were moving from different schools and so forth. So I think equity is one of the biggest issues, depending on the neighborhood that you are part of in our very diverse and a very uniquely shaped district. You have certain resources, you have certain cluster schools. Now there's a lot more schools that are sharing buildings, and even within those shared arrangements, a lot of it comes down to the relationship between the principals, and just maybe how much of a strong person is sometimes to get resources for one versus the other. So that's what I think is biggest in D28.
Thank you so much. And I'll repeat the question. To your knowledge, what is the role of the CEC and how would you work with the President's Council and the community?
Sorry, that's the wrong question. That's the previous one.
Yes, you are. You're right. Thank you. Thank you. What do you feel are important issues in our district and how will you elevate the voice of our community to address them? Thank you so much. And that's to Odessa Engles.
Hi. So yes, the issue that I do feel that is important in our district is that I feel that there is unfairness. I don't know. I feel like there's a divide. We have like this unneutral line, a divided line between the north side and the south side. And I feel that it shouldn't be that way. We're not talking about adult issues. We're talking about our children. Everybody's education should be equal. Yes, we understand that life is not fair, but when it comes to education and dividing of money and funds and fixing community buildings for our children, it should be equal and fair. What I said before, I only can come from experience. The other candidates speak so very well, but I'm coming from experience that I experienced from me being on the south side of Queens, that we do not get as much as the north side. Things are not done as well as the north side. So I feel like as me being on the board, I will be able to have that voice. And how can we work to end this the division between the north side and the south side? Children should be able to work together. It's adults that sometimes they see the ignorance in life. It's not children. Children see no color when it comes to things. So being the fact that children see no color, their education should not have a color. We have to figure out how to work together as a team. And I think that's one of the biggest things in District 28 that I see, that there is no equalness when it comes to our children that have no color. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, our next candidate would now be Geetu Aggarwal. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think the biggest concern existing right now is diversity and inclusion. And what I feel is like there are definitely quite policies or processes which we say, okay, we're going to take care of the minorities and include them. But I think we need a better system here. We need to include we should see the differences and we should accept them as an individuals. All people, right, should be equal and should be welcome and should be given equal opportunity to progress. And I think like we are definitely providing like a science and technology education and making them progress, in the field of scientific advancements. But we definitely want a better human beings. If a person is not a better human being, they will become, very selfish and whatnot. And that can lead to, disastrous situations in our country, in our, in this district as well. So definitely we need to bring them some sort of a moral education, improve them so that they can be socially, be a good social person, a selfless human being, right? Suppose, right, in case of pandemic, if, there wouldn't be any donation, charities or selflessness, we would not have come to this far. So definitely, we need to come together and help each other and bring, bridge the gaps between existing in our society so that we can, this society can be a better place to live with all the differences and discriminations existing. Yeah, that's what I think is the major issue right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we'll move to our next candidate, Sheleeza Deen.
Thank you again. I have witnessed firsthand the inequities we face in District 28. In District 28 and MS 217, we fought for halal food in our schools because there were so many Muslim children in our neighborhood. And we didn't get halal food until this pandemic. So the blessing in this pandemic for Muslim students is they get to eat a healthy meal. A complete meal, not just something they got to eat pieces of, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, drink their milk and call it a day. Right across over to Forest Hills, they've been having kosher meals for decades. And we as parents, as parent leaders, we need to find ways of getting the equity for our students. We suffer from children living in the shelter, hundreds of our children in many parts of District 28. We have a threat of having a men's shelter coming into our neighborhood. And these are things we're going to need to reach out to our community, all the different organizations, from small board members to the president, Queensborough Hall, and that we can get safe, equal education. Yes, we are diverse without a doubt. And yes, we have problems with inclusion and exclusion and gifted and talented, and all the regulations are being changed. But sometimes the changes are what we need. And as Zoom has brought us all together and technology, I hope that this will be the same for our children.
Thank you so much. And I'll repeat the question. What do you feel are important issues in our district, and how will you elevate the voice of our community to address them? And this is to Vijah Ramjattan.
That works. Okay, thank you so much. What are some of the concerns and issues in our district? G&T, right? Every student learns at a different pace. So how can we meet each student where they are and provide platforms for the ones who are accelerating to be the better who they want to be? Diversity and integration, right? We want to make sure that all of our students now across our district, there's diversity and integration happening in a very equitable way for all of our students. Overcrowding. Why some schools in our district, they have long waiting lists? Well, whereas other schools are so underused that they're bringing in other programs just to fill in those empty classes. And they're a school that you and I are paying for. Our tax dollars are paying for the electricity and the water in these schools, and they're being underused, right? Also, my dear friends, District 75 schools. We have a lot of students in our district right now who are part of District 75, but they have to travel outside the district to go to other schools. We are grateful that we're having one more added right now to our district at PS 144, co-located schools, and we're happy for that. Bullying on any form needs to always be addressed every day, because while it may not be my child today, it could be my child tomorrow because the times change. So we have to be addressing bullying, and it's an issue always because our city schools and our environments are so diverse. our L students, our English language learner students, we want to make sure that they have a fair platform also to be successful on every level and not left behind only because there's a language barrier. Access to quality education. It bothered me when I became president of this CEC this past 2 years, when I saw a map of there's only one A school in the southern part of our district, whereas there's so many other A schools in the northern part of our district. We have all these buildings here. Why can't they all be A schools? And if they're not all A schools, what is missing? How can we address that? And how can we elevate every voice? We have been bringing the meeting to each school, and now time is up. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Our next candidate, Elena Aminova.
Thank you. And it's a great question because I think we as a CEC of District 28 have thought about it quite a lot, and the priorities that we set for ourselves for the last 2 years have been challenging to a degree. First of all, being the chairperson under the current Back to School Committee within the CEC, I think our first priority is to get our students back into the school buildings safely in September. That's our first priority, and I think over the summer we need to, and even now as we're working through it, we need to work with the district leadership as well as our principals and administration to ensure that all of our kids can safely return into their classrooms September, the first week of September. I also do not think that we need to bring back the diversity plan, yet we do need to focus on equity for all of our kids in a different way. We were challenged as the CEC when we started our term with the diversity plan, and what I believe in is that we need to provide resources. We're working with the DOE and the district to make all our schools competitive across the district. That is currently not the case, and from what I'm hearing from our fellow candidates here is that there are challenges across the district, right? So we want to make sure that the funding that we used towards the plan, actually, as opposed to using it continually, right? It did not make our schools better. We just basically created a lot of chaos in the district, and we want to use the funding and actually additional funding towards making all of our schools within the district, south and north, equally competitive, so we would have a lot of choices to send our kids, not to just certain schools within a certain part of the district. We need to tailor to our kids' needs, both special education students as well as our talented and gifted students, and provide opportunities for all equally. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next candidate, Rajwinder Kaur.
Yes. Yeah, our main concern is, number one, the issue is GNT. It's very unfair that gifted and talented admissions are not being fair to everyone. There are so many children who are real talented are being left behind. And again, it's the same issue, the admissions, some schools are overcrowded, that some people living in the same district could not get the same district school. They have no other option rather than to move to another district to put their children to the school. The reason is the overcrowdedness. Second issue, what I thought is like, children are not treated fairly regarding the lunch that's being distributed in the school. There are few people, not few, especially in our district, there are people, the families who do not eat everything, and they are not provided what they eat religiously and also culturally also. So we should be treating that one also. Another thing, racial discrimination, bullying. There are kids who are being bullied according to their, the hairstyle, the other thing. They do bully each other according to their appearance. That should not be there. Again, the diversity plan, everything, it should be treated and it should be considered for the safety of our kids. Last but not the least, the September return school. What are the precautions? How safe our kids are, because they are our future. We have to take some precautionary measures for them, that they should be safe enough so that they can serve us, they can serve our country. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And with that, I will return it to our co-president, Jessica.
Hi, thank you so much. I really appreciate all of the responses that the candidates have given. We're going to go ahead and wrap up by giving the candidates 1 minute apiece for a closing statement. And so to start with, our first candidate to speak, and I'm sorry to do this back to back. Oh, okay, our first candidate to speak will be Elizabeth Polkovitz. Elizabeth?
There I am. Wow, what a great group of parents are on this call. It's really exciting. I would be honored to serve with each and every one of you on this call tonight. The passion and energy is really inspiring. And every single person on this call understands that there isn't a single issue in CEC, and a single issue can't drive everything that CEC does. I truly believe that District 28 can be a shining example to this city of how a profoundly diverse school district can come together and really work to solve big problems. I would be honored to be elected to serve this district and to work to really move towards sustainable solutions that allow every student, no matter their financial situation, race, or background, to access an appropriate, challenging, interdisciplinary education that opens doors. We can close the opportunity gap. We can honor the differences between our communities while serving them fairly and equitably. I'm hoping that you will consider me, Elizabeth Polkovitz, to serve you on this council.
Thank you so much. The next candidate for closing statements is Albert Suhu. Albert, go ahead.
First of all, I'd like to say I'm very impressed with the other candidates. I take comfort knowing that the families in District 28 will be well represented. That said, I think any CEC member can do a good job of voicing the concerns of parents. However, merely communicating requests to DOE officials or elected leaders doesn't necessarily mean that we can get results. And to get actionable results, requests to such decision makers should be prepared with supporting evidence. And this evidence must be factual, evidence-based, and data-driven. An example of this evidence could include gap analysis, analysis of alternatives, cost-benefit analysis, and risk assessment. Without such supporting artifacts, it would be very difficult to convince decision makers. My many years of experience in business and federal government presenting business cases and engaging internal and external stakeholders should prove valuable while serving on the Education Council. Let me close by saying that I would greatly appreciate the opportunity to represent the interests of all the families in the district, and I promise to actively fight for your concerns. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you so much. The next candidate to speak and give closing statement is Nathifa Lewis.
Good evening again. I would just say that when something is working well, it encourages others to want to be a part of it. I've admired and enjoyed the energy of the most recent CEC, and that also helped me want to become a part of this team, as I know some people transition out, and I believe that I have complementary talents and experience to offer to continue to serve our students in District 28. Coming from the South Side, having had a student in the Gifted and Talented program, now the PTA president of Title I school, having diverse experience, I think I have multiple areas that I can look at, that I can understand to help continue to be that liaison. As we mentioned, it's a multifaceted set of issues in District 28, and I would be honored to be a part of the council for the upcoming 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next candidate to give a closing statement is Sheleeza Deen. Ms. Deen? I apologize. Actually, yes. The next candidate is Odessa Engles.
Odessa.
Please go ahead with your closing statement, Ms. Engles.
Okay. So I want to say congratulations to everybody that even took the time out to wanting to apply for this position. But I feel like I would be a good candidate because I have served as PTA and on SLT boards. I have been to numerous CEC meetings and actually spoken and voiced my opinion. I feel like being from the South Side also and the Title I school, I have seen the misprivileges that we have gotten sitting on the board and seeing what other people got, and that I would be a good voice for what we will need on the South Side. So please choose Odessa Engles. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I apologize for the mistake. The next candidate will be Ms. Sheleeza Deen, and please go ahead and give your closing statement.
Hello, everyone. It would be a pleasure to serve the CEC. I echo what many of the other candidates have said. And yes, we had a inspiring, exhilarating group of the CEC that brought us together and made us want to join. And I think that's part of one of the reasons that I wanted to be part of this. I think coming from a nursing background and my years of education, I feel I will be a great fit for the team. I feel that we need to definitely have more psychosocial and mental health care for our children to bring them up to the equitable level that they deserve to be, and to catch them up hopefully during the summer and in the fall for what they have lost due to the pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next candidate to speak will be Vijah Ramjattan. Vijay, go ahead and give your closing statement.
Thank you, Jessica. Again, my name is Vijah Ramjattan, and I currently serve as the president of CEC 28. How have I served? I've served as a parent. That's it. I've never served with my titles, all the other hats that we wear, but on the CEC, I serve as a parent because I believe as a parent, I could align myself with other parents and understand whatever struggles, frustrations, or concerns that we've all had as parents. This past year for the pandemic, we were faced with a challenge, a big challenge. And as a CEC, myself as the president and with all other members, we pulled through, we stuck together. So in closing, I would say this. I look forward to continue to serve if given the opportunity, my fellow district members and parents and students, but also to work hard alongside all of you who will be chosen and selected to be part of the CEC going forward. And last but not least, remember, this is about our children, nothing else. This is only about our children. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next candidate to speak will be Elena Aminova. Please go ahead and give your closing statement.
Thank you for that opportunity, Jessica, and everyone on the panel. It's been a privilege to spend this evening hour with everyone. I would love to continue to serve on the District 28 CEC for the next 2 years, as I have been for the last 2 years. And the goal for me is to continue to make impactful changes for the sake of all of our children in the district, putting all of our differences aside. Please consider voting for me, obviously, as your CEC rep, as I'm here to represent all of you. I'm extremely passionate about the children's education. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been running on all of the 3 kids in parallel times within SLT, the PA, PTA boards, and being the Title I rep at my kids' schools as well. I am truly, truly passionate about making a difference, and even in the last 2 years in challenging times. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. To close us out with the last candidate to speak will be Rajwinder Kaur. Go ahead and give your closing statement.
First of all, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to be here with the wonderful people over here. So I will be very honored. I will love to continue to serve as the CEC that gives you an opportunity to serve the students as well as the community, because community is inclusive of the students and the children, and children is our future. So I will be given the opportunity, will be the voice of the kids, voice of the school students, voice of the community, so that all the issues can be resolved. Would love to help them in each and every way. As of now, I serve the community, a CEC from the last since last year. So would love to continue that. If I would have given me an opportunity, I'll be more than honored. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm just going to close this out by saying thank you for attending tonight's candidates forum. Our thanks to the candidates for their participation, and to our families for coming out to learn more. I'd also like to thank Michelle Staples for helping me run this meeting, Cherie Gibson, and also Learning Times. I also thank the District 28 wider community for watching this event tonight. Please make sure to share your notes with your families and fellow parents, and of course, make sure to vote. The voting begins May 1st and runs through May 11th, 2021. If you have any questions, you can contact the elections team, and their email address is listed here. And the candidate forum recordings will be listed on this website. And I also forgot to mention, thank you very much for our translators. It is I'm very thankful to have you on this meeting tonight. And again, that is it. Thank you for attending District 28, the CEC Candidates Forum hosted by President's Council. Thank you.